first thing we want to ask actually is, are you an enthusiast yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of am, but not quite the same parks as all our Twitter followers are interested in.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a Disneyland fan.
Same.
Nice to meet you, fellow fan. And before I worked for AromaPrime, I designed things for attractions as well.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a background in that, and I'm interested in all of it. Yeah, I find that our Twitter followers tend to be fans of Alton Towers and, well, Merlin UK sites, basically.
Yeah.
And I've been to Alton Towers once, and I went to Thorpe Park for a media thing to promote AromaPrime. But and I'm not so into roller coasters. I like them, but I'm into theming a lot more. If a roller coaster has theming, then I'll probably like it more than one that doesn't. Otherwise, they make me a bit scared.
Yeah, I can understand.
Theming is always good, you know? We love a good...
Yeah, we do.
Love a good theme.
Yeah.
So what, would you say you're more into maybe the dark rides? Because I know Disney has a lot of more kind of dark rides rather than roller coasters, right?
Yeah, definitely. I guess anything that takes you into a story, which kind of ties into the smells, all the sets and the lighting and the animatronics. They're my favourites.
Yeah.
Just off the bat, do you have a favourite ride generally?
I'm quite a big fan of Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Is that pre or post refurb?
Oh, definitely pre. I'd be surprised. Well, actually, yeah, it's a good refurbishment. I have some kind of nerdy issues with it that no normal guest would have problems with. But generally, it's all right.
Yeah. I don't think we've done it post. You might have done it post.
No, I've done it pre.
Was it closed?
Oh, yeah, I did it pre. So
I did it pre.
How intriguing.
need to go back.
Yeah, I did it post refurbishment in September. Yeah, it's like storytelling aspects, I suppose, that bother me. But there are nice illusions. The illusions are good.
Yeah.
Okay, should we jump in with the first question then?
Go for it.
So we start every podcast with the same question, but obviously as you're not an enthusiast as such, we've changed all of our questions today to be more kind of like theme park scent oriented, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the first question is, if you had free reign to create any theme park scent for any theme, what would it be?
Quite a toughie.
I'm just trying to process this. There's lots of words in that sentence.
So basically, if you could like make a scent for any kind of theme, what would you like want to do?
Well, it's interesting because I kind of we're making different smells for different themes every day. I think, I think all of the things that I would want to do already exist at AromaPrime. I really like our musty smell, just on a personal level, because there was an attraction in my hometown when I was growing up that used the musty smell.
Oh, right.
So I like that in a nostalgic way.
Yeah.
I think something really strange and unusual for some exciting project. It's always nice when attractions want to make something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
That's
something we talk about a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just doing stuff like out of the box.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I feel like especially when theme parks or creative leads are involving companies who kind of have free reign to do what they want. If you get given a good
briefing,
you can really go and create something completely unique.
Well, it's about the storytelling again. I find that the attractions that have a good story, like Wicker Man at Alton Towers, when they know like everything just ties in together and you know exactly what kind of mood they're going for and the atmosphere they want and how the smell could tie into the story as well. Like the culture of these don't know how to describe them. Ritualistic
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it all just
comes
comes together and you know exactly which way to go.
Yeah, this is it, right? You have the depth of the story to help you guide what it should smell like.
Yeah, and that's it's a bit more exciting than maybe if I don't know, some kind of vague. We're a theme park, so we want some fun candy floss smells. Not that that's a bad thing.
No, that's true. You gotta build a diverse aroma for your park, I guess. But let's talk about you. We haven't even said, for those listening, who you are. So do you want to talk about yourself a little bit? Explain who you are, who you work for, what you do.
Well, I'm just some stranger who you added on Skype. I have no idea who I'm talking to.
Well, hold on a minute.
Are you sure you've got the right person?
Mystery guest.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Liam, and I work for AromaPrime. If you don't know, those listening, AromaPrime makes themed smells for theme parks and museums and escape rooms and all sorts of attractions. And I am their attractions consultant. So with my background with attractions design, I advise attractions on the best ways to utilise themed smells, whether it be to enhance the storytelling, or it could be considering guest flow, if they need a terrible smell to push people away from certain areas, or they might need nice smells to pull people into other areas. It's kind of what I do, and I also do the marketing. So if you're tweeting at us, it's probably me who's replying.
That's such a cool role to have.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, what I like about it is that we're always working on... It's like having a little bit of access to all sorts of different projects around the world. Like if the Natural History Museum is doing something, we could be helping out, and then we're helping out on some new roller coaster at the same time. So we get all sorts of exciting little insights into different projects and seeing how they all develop differently and how all the different creatives work. We talk to like the creative designers and technicians and marketing people. So we get to talk to all the different people on the different levels of the teams as well.
No, it sounds really interesting.
It does. So you spoke about before, you come from a rides, amusement background, right? Mm-hmm. What exactly did you do before?
I kind of still do it, but I guess I'm pretty busy with AromaPrime. But I started off, I did an animation degree, which helped me develop my design skills and storytelling skills. And then I worked at escape rooms for a while, coming up with stories for them and the puzzles.
That's cool.
And then there's a company called Theme 3 who make themed attractions. They've worked for places like the Dungeons and Warwick Castle and other Merlin places. And they needed... Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say actually. Okay, they needed some help. So
Okay, sure.
So I started working for them on a freelance basis and some other theming companies. I got to work on a ghost train, helping refurbish that in Northern Ireland, which was a very fun project. So yeah, having an understanding of how the industry works and how designers think is always handy in my role at AromaPrime.
What got you into the smell side of things,
I guess when you're working freelance, you're always looking for new opportunities. And I knew about AromaPrime. It used to be called DLR because we're celebrating our 40th anniversary. So it's a pretty old company. And I knew it as DLR as the people that supplied the attraction in my hometown. And I knew that they changed the name to AromaPrime, and there was new management, so I got in touch just to see if they needed any assistance with my attractions background, and I thought it would be a rather exciting avenue to explore, and they took me on,
definitely.
Luckily. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm pleased about that.
So when was that? Was that a few years? Like, what kind of projects have you been involved with them that we might know of?
With AromaPrime?
Yeah, so kind of when did you join and what have you been working on?
I get all the years mixed up now. We've got so many 20 stuff. Oh no, it's only just started being 20, yeah, 20 whatever. Maybe 2017.
Okay.
No, 2018. Late October 2018. That's right.
Right.
There's so many things we've been working on. And it's hard to remember which I'm allowed to talk about off the top of my head.
I can imagine, yeah.
What I do enjoy is the scare mazes at Halloween. Because that's when we get all sorts of companies getting in touch with all sorts of gruesome smells that they want. And it's always exciting with scare mazes because they often have different themes, like underwater themes and things within them. So we get variety of horrible smells with different themes. It's very fun.
I think scare mazes are one of the perfect places for smells, especially when it's dark. You know, you can't see much. Your other senses are heightened, and you smell like
it's intense.
Exactly. Say like the attic, Alton Towers. It smells dusty and damp and old.
Yeah.
You know, and that really kind of puts you there. You know.
Yeah, smells are kind of perfect for scare mazes because
they are.
Our smell receptors are connected to the part of our brain that processes emotions. So when you have other senses that are limited, like you can't really see things properly and everything's really loud, so you can't really hear things properly, and you've got these provocative smells shoving themselves up your nose, it can cause all sorts of reactions from guests, whether it be vomit smells making them feel sick, or like damp cave smells making them feel claustrophobic, or bloody smells making them feel scared. There's all sorts of opportunities to mess with people's minds.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool. Am I right in thinking that you worked, or AromaPrime worked on the Darkest Depths smells?
Yeah, last year, I'm probably allowed to confirm, well, we did a competition with them, where we, I don't know if you saw, we were giving away a few of the Alton Towers Scare Maze smells.
Oh yeah, we did see that actually,
Yeah, so we provided smells for all of them last year. So that's the attic, and I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head. Subspecies,
yeah. Project 42.
Yeah. Oh, platform.
No, the platform is Thor Park.
I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to start
similar.
listing them.
There's one more, Mine Tours. And then Darkest Depths.
That's right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying when companies have lots of different themes within their scare mazes. That was definitely a good opportunity to try out lots of different things. Especially, I really liked the smells that we used for Darkest Depths because maritime smells aren't often used in scare mazes.
Yeah. Well, it's just such an unusual theme, really, for like a scare maze.
It was a great theme.
Yeah.
I thought I was so surprised at every single aspect of that maze. I thought it was fantastic.
It was good.
Yeah.
You know, so
I was excited when I found out they were doing a nautical scare maze. I wish I could have gone. Maybe next year.
Yeah, well, it's definitely worth it.
If it returns, I think, Liam, you'll have to go.
Yeah, certainly.
It's it is a fantastic attraction for sure.
No, it's really good. One of the so a while back we actually bought one of your scents, which is the Wicker Man scent, and I think that's probably my favourite one, just out of all of them. Just the way that it smells, and when we got it, we were like, oh my gosh, it actually just smells like Wicker Man, just pure Wicker Man.
Funnily enough,
it was weird. Yeah, it was weird to be like smelling it, but you're not actually there.
This is it, right? Smell. I feel like smells are very linked to memory.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When you smell something, you just go, oh, I remember being in this place, and especially obviously with Wicker Man, it does kind of take you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when I was saying that our smell receptors are connected to the part of our brain that processes emotions, it's also the part of our brain that processes memories. And smell is the one sense that can trigger memories better than any other sense.
Yeah. No, it's weird how quickly you kind of like, you know, remember everything about that moment.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that's why we use smells in care homes as well for residents with dementia.
Right.
Because of smells' unique ability to bring back memories so instantly. And it can be memories that people might not have accessed for years and they've kind of completely forgotten, other than that smell memory, which doesn't really go. And then suddenly it all comes rushing back. So that's handy with dementia patients.
What kind of scents are used there?
It would be nostalgic smells from their past that they would be familiar with.
Right, okay.
So general things would be like carbolic soap and licorice and pear drops and coal fire. Or it could be tailored to their own lives, like machine oil if they were a mechanic, or fish if they were a fisherman.
That's amazing.
That is amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's really handy, and it's good. It's nice to be able to work on all these kind of weird and wonderful, scary things and exciting, fantastical things, but also just help people with their general well-being.
I mean, I guess there's so many uses for like that kind of thing, like entertainment and also like, you know, what you've just said, that kind of use.
Yeah.
Quite diverse.
I'm glad you enjoyed your wood smoke, though.
We did.
We've sold an awful lot of it recently.
I'm not surprised.
But it kind of goes to show how powerful scent can be at attractions when people have such a connection to it and they want to kind of transport themselves back. It's a nice vehicle to do that with.
Let's talk about that, actually, because you recently put out a theme park scent kit, if I recall correctly.
Yes, it's the Theme Park Enthusiast Collection. No, Theme Park Fan Collection.
Of course.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's because there's been such a demand for theme park smells. We wanted to kind of make them more accessible to fans who want to own them at home. So we worked with Thought Park to get those initial Scare Maze smells out. And we also recently added musty and wood smoke to the collection just because they're kind of standard favourites. But yeah, we're hoping in the coming months to add a few more from different attractions and see if anyone's interested. They seem very interested so far.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be.
It does seem that way. It's as I said, it's just cool. It's just cool to be able to take these kind of memories back into your own home and experience them again.
Well, I just thought you'd never be able to like buy them yourself. I thought it was just something that the theme park would have access to. So
well, it's one of the fun things about smell is that you can actually like own an authentic part of your favorite ride. Kind of like owning, I don't know, a bit of a plank from Wicker Man, except it's there's an endless amount, so everyone can have a piece.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a big part of Wicker Man as well, like the smell of it all. It's something that really hits you, isn't it, when you go in? So it's something that you just associate, as soon as you smell it, you're just like, oh, Wicker Man. I'm there.
It literally
but that's not,
is.
but no, a lot of roller coasters don't have a smell like that you're so connected with the ride.
Yeah. I think there's quite a few rides at Alton Towers where you just kind of go, oh, that's X. Well, not X, but obviously like Hex is a good one.
Yeah,
Hex.
You walk into Hex and every time you go, oh, that's you just remember
we're
it.
in Hex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, even growing up in the south, away from Alton Towers, the attractions that I went to in my town, there would be occasions when you'd walk into a building and people would go, oh, that smells like No 4, or that smells like this place.
Yeah.
I think one of the perks for attractions when they have a smell is that it's literally like a signature scent, like people recognise them for it, and it's like some kind of subliminal marketing when they go to other places. Guests leave the park, but they can still encounter that smell and suddenly they're reminded of it and they start talking about it. So it's a handy marketing tool without actually having to do much marketing.
Yeah.
Definitely. In terms of actually producing the scents, I don't know how much you could tell us about the actual process of creating these individual smells, and then not only how they're made, but how they go into the air. Because obviously we bought a very small bottle, and you look at it and you go, that's not going to last at all. But I'm
It's
sure
so intense though.
yeah, exactly. It's so intense, and I'm sure it lasts quite a long time, you know?
Yeah, well, because our company's now 40 years old, we've got lots of really old recipes that are tried and tested for all these different theme smells, so we know which chemicals to mix together to get the right ones. We've got a lab in Manchester, and there are two ladies working there at the moment, so I'm based in the south and I'll be on the phone to them and emailing them, and my colleague Harvey as well. So we will interact with the customers, and then we'll be in touch with the lab to kind of coordinate everything. So yeah, I mean, our stock room at the lab is quite a stink. It's hundreds of bottles of pretty much every smell you could imagine. And yeah, we also do machines, scent dispensers for all sorts of different needs, whether it's just for filling a few meters with smell or filling a whole arena. And the most common one for places like Alton Towers is the Vortex Standard or the Vortex Variable, which is like a cup that you pour the oil into, and then it heats up and spreads the aroma through the air.
Okay.
But we're actually, I suppose it could be a kind of exclusive announcement for this podcast.
Whoa. Just what we like.
Yeah, but we're going to soon be releasing two new machines. We're upgrading the Standard and the Variable, which have been around probably for about 40 years as well, with some brand new machines which will have all sorts of exciting abilities, and we think that'll have quite an impact on how attractions around the world use scent.
Right. So is this a completely different kind of technology, or is it the same kind of idea as the old ones?
It will. They'll work a little bit differently, but it's just much more modern technology. You'll be able to get a lot more out of them, which should hopefully give attractions more flexibility and perhaps opportunities to use more smells and different smells more than they might normally use. Maybe have them on a higher blast.
And you can buy these dispensers, is that the right word, for just your own personal use as well, can't you? Because I think I saw some kind of smaller ones.
Yeah, anyone can buy them. We normally, for theme park enthusiasts, we'll normally suggest the mini dispenser, because it's reasonably affordable, and you can pop it on your table and it will fill a space about 3 meters, so it's not too invasive of other rooms that you might not want smelling of rotting flesh.
What do you mean? I want my whole house to smell like rotting flesh.
We do sprays as well, which is like a handy alternative if you can't quite afford a machine, or you don't want a machine, you just want a nice simple spray. That's a nice alternative.
Yeah. I think it's so cool though that, you know, enthusiasts out there can just kind of, you know, just have the Wicker Man smell in their house.
Keep going back to the Wicker Man smell, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the best one though, isn't it? Really.
Well,
it's my favourite one.
I think it's probably one of the best because it's been implemented in such a complete package. Yeah. You know, as you were saying before, Liam, it's because the ride is so well done and themed, it really complements itself. And you get kind of that feedback loop where the ride complements the scent, but the scent complements the ride, and then it's all just in your memory of, wow, that was, you know. So when more rides are built like that, I'm sure maybe other scents will rise to the top of the list as well.
Yes,
you know,
I think that's why I'm so interested in theming and attractions that have a strong sense of storytelling. While I like more simplistic rides for a quick thrill, I think there's something very memorable and potentially personal about the more immersive experiences.
Yeah, it's more of a powerful experience that makes you think a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, and you can like share memories of it with people. I guess you can with a good roller coaster that's just made of metal and doesn't have any theming, though. Nothing
No.
against roller coasters.
Well, you could, I guess, but it's much more, engaging when
Yeah.
there's a whole story to it and there's a lot more to kind of talk about. And when
It makes you feel more things.
Yeah, exactly. It puts you there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's an atmosphere.
I think that tends to work with most things, most entertainment media, even when it comes to selling perfume. Like might just be a flowery smell, but they give them all sorts of backgrounds and strange adverts and interesting bottles, and it's all of that makes the experience more exciting.
Yeah.
At the very start of this, you spoke about, or very briefly mentioned, which really caught my interest, that theme parks and different various attractions can use smells to both draw people to certain areas and push them away from others.
Yes.
So in terms of like drawing to places, are you talking, say, you have a bakery and you make you put a fresh bread smell out?
Yeah, there are, I think Subway's quite famous for having a smell that draws people in.
Yes.
And it's about the idea of that smell receptor thing again, where it connects to your brain and it triggers emotions and reactions. So if a shop has candy floss smells, then it'll likely make people think about candy floss and how much they like candy floss and how they wish they could eat that smell. And then they'll end up buying things, which is jolly useful. Whether it's just a normal shop or it's a theme park gift shop. I think I've heard that some people say that they can smell burgers or something when they leave Wicker Man.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, yes, because there is the burger kitchen literally right next to it.
Yeah. So
I don't know whether that's a real...
I have a feeling it's a real smell.
Right, yeah.
But either way, I guess that must encourage people to...
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if there's a vent in the kitchen, then all the burger smell's just going to be right on Wicker Man, isn't it?
It is, literally.
Yeah.
You do walk out the shop and you're like, you just hit with this
Food time?
beefy smell. You're like, ooh. kind of works, doesn't it, with the flames and then the flame grilled burgers,
Yeah.
Complete package there, guys.
Yes,
Complete package.
all the theming is carefully connected.
Exactly.
I'm sure that is exactly what they
Yes.
thought. Yeah. What about pushing people away from certain areas?
Yes, well, there's a castle in Wales. They have a maze where, because it's such a narrow space, they have to kind of get people through at a good pace so that people aren't crowding in it.
Right.
And there's a little play tower where people can climb in and pretend they're in a castle. And there's a king's toilet in it, and it stinks of poo. So the idea of that is that it's very fun for children and it makes them laugh, and they don't really think of it as anything scheming, but it is a good way of kind of getting people to move on and not linger for too long.
Yeah.
It's smart.
Yeah, that is really smart.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's the kind of where I guess my experience design thinking comes into play, as opposed to selling to hotels and things.
Yeah.
Where they might not want the smell of poo.
Perhaps not.
Well, yeah, I think that's fair enough, really. What about in terms of research and development? I'm sure you're always looking for the next smell, the next big one to come out. How do the people who generate these smells come about creating them?
It depends really. Sometimes or often when people want a smell that we don't have on our website, we can normally mix smells together. Like we made a donkey poo one over the last few days. And rather than make something completely new, we mixed a few manure bits and a bit of stable and a bit of farmyard. And we got something good from that. But otherwise, if we're making something completely new, we'll often do a lot of careful research. If it's something fictional, then we'll read about the fictional thing and maybe sniff things that are similar to that fictional thing in real life. or we'll, if it's a historical thing, like we made a T-Rex smell for the Natural History Museum.
Oh wow.
So initially, from speaking to experts and sniffing things that we thought might be dinosaur related, we kind of gathered that it would smell of rotting meat stuck between the dinosaur's teeth more than anything. But that was kind of a bit too overpowering for the museum guests, we decided. So we went with a more jungle smell instead, based on dinosaur age plants.
Right. So it's kind of like you just try and figure out all the smells that it could possibly be and put something together based on what you think it might be.
Yeah, I mean, if the smell already exists in real life, then we can just smell the real thing.
Yeah.
So it depends on what we're trying to make, I suppose. Sometimes people might want to create an emotion rather than an actual smell of something real or tangible. So that's something else to consider. Recently, I've been working with a trampoline park in another country who they partly want a nice smell to cover up the smell of sweat that sticks to all of their equipment.
Lovely.
But they were also after something fun to make people feel relaxed and happy. So we've been experimenting with a few different fun aromas, which tend to be quite sweet in a pleasant way that's not too overpowering.
Yeah, that's such a weird use, but also just makes loads of sense that you'd use a smell.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people wouldn't think of doing that for their company.
It's definitely, one of those things where you have no idea about it until you hear about it, and then you go, wow, that makes...
Yeah, that's... it tends to be why it's so effective in theming, where you don't want people kind of studying the theming and thinking about the behind-the-scenes things. They just accept it, and you get that emotive reaction that you want.
Yeah, people get immersed in what they're seeing rather than just looking at it for at its face value.
Yeah.
In terms of buying the scent, we always talk about the Wicker Man scent, but is that essentially just a stock scent that anybody could buy? So any kind of company could buy it?
Yeah, that one, well, as you know, because you've bought it,
exactly.
available to everyone, which I guess because it's just the smell of burning wood, you can't really put a copyright on that smell.
No, of course.
But a way it can benefit an attraction like Wicker Man is kind of like I said, the more places that have that smell, say another park gets wood smoke, then it will help make their attraction more immersive, but it might also remind people at their attraction of the Wicker Man.
Yeah.
So it kind of works for both parties in that respect.
That's happened to us though, when we've just been like out and about somewhere and we smell basically like burning. And we're just like, oh, it smells like Wicker Man here. And it's just a natural smell. It's quite funny.
Yeah, well, like...
we're at a living museum, weren't we? And they had all the fires in the old houses.
Coal, charcoal fires and wood fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess in a way it kind of, even though the Living Museum probably doesn't want to make people think of Wicker Man.
I'm sure they don't even know what Wicker Man is, probably.
I think in the, on the off chance that someone does, it obviously elicits happy memories, which can't be bad for the museum.
Yeah. We have actually a blog post coming out with you being interviewed, and one of the questions on there was about how do you think theme parks benefit from smells? And I just wanted to kind of ask you that again on here in case anyone's not going to read the blog post. So how do you think they benefit from it? Why do theme parks need smells, basically?
Well, I can't remember what I told you before, so this could be completely different.
A fresh answer.
Yeah.
That's fine, double the content.
Yeah. I think there are lots of different levels, whether it be to encourage people's behaviour, to make them feel a certain way, whether it be to make them happy or scared, or excited, or make them want a burger, or it can enhance the storytelling, like we said.
Yeah.
It can help transport people to another world when they step in that queue, which is really handy. I think smells are really good for queues, particularly for roller coasters where you can't really use smell anywhere else, because you want people to be immersed in that world before they get on the ride, rather than just get in a cart right away and it's over in a few seconds. It's nice to have that build up. And I think the final thing would be memories, making people familiar with your ride in a fond way and helping them remember it when they encounter that smell somewhere else, and just having a way of taking themselves back to that experience.
Yeah. I think theme parks is one of the main places I would say that smells work best. There's so many ways you can use them, especially when there's themes involved as well. So
yeah, and theme parks are always they have all sorts of different themed experiences where smell can be used, like scare mazes and roller coasters and dark rides and even live performances. We're talking to a theme park at the moment about a live show using different smells for the different scenes, and the gift shops as well.
Yeah.
So there's tons of opportunities.
Exactly, yeah.
What about what's coming up next for AromaPrime? Is there anything that you can tell us that you're doing next, you know? You've already given us some hot off the press information about the dispensers. Is there any more?
Well, I think, the new dispensers are the biggest thing coming up.
Yeah.
Because that'll be... I would anticipate that would have quite an influence on the industry in general when it comes to scenting, which could affect future rides and how smell's used in them. In terms of theme park projects, I don't really know. I'd have to remember a project that we've been working on, and then I'd have to think, am I allowed to talk about that? Yeah. I think anything that we would be very exciting to announce. We're probably just approaching the stage where we're allowed to talk about it, but not quite yet. Seeing as the open season's approaching.
Yeah, exactly.
This is very true.
Maybe you'll notice a few new smells around as you're going to the parks this year.
We'll keep our nose out for them.
Yes. Exactly.
And I guess that's the perfect time to tell people to follow AromaPrime on social media.
Yeah. We're called Aroma_Prime on Twitter, I believe. And then AromaPrime Scents on Instagram. And then AromaPrime Theme Scents on Facebook. And we have LinkedIn as well, if anyone's on LinkedIn.
And check out the website if you want to buy a scent.
Yes, we're always happy to help if anyone's after anything specific, or if they have concerns about budget, or if they want to spread the smell in a certain way. We're glad to advise.
Okay, well, we'll end with our last question. And again, this one's quite a creative thinking one. If you had to pick one theme park scent to be the last one that you ever smelt, what would it be?
Gosh.
Wicker Man.
Final scent.
Don't say Wicker Man.
I think quite a lot of people would probably say Wicker Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine would be musty, like I said earlier, just because it's from the attraction in my town that I went to when I was growing up. It'd be nice, kind of a full loop, having smelt it when I was younger and then smell it just
Very
before I
true.
die.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
full circle.
that is full circle.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end, I guess. And thanks for coming on and talking to us.
That's all right. Thank you for asking your questions. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been good.
And people listening, make sure to keep up to date with AromaPrime so that you know what attractions to, I was going to say look out for, but to smell
out for.
Yeah, to smell out for.
Yes.
And experience and get in the world of whatever if they're trying to get you in. terribly put. It is a Friday, so
you're forgiven.
Thank you.
Yes, you never know what exclusive news you might find out from our social media.
Yes.
So stay in tune, everyone.
Yeah.